Well, welcome everybody to the Blitz 12 Player of the Week celebration, I guess, for week number 3. We have in studio the winner of this week's contest with 70% of the vote, a landslide for Central running back Ramel Richards. Ramel, welcome to the program and congratulations on earning Blitz 12 Player of the Week.
Thank you, JP. I just want to say thank you to everybody that voted for me, and I'm just glad to be here right now.
Now, you talked a little bit about it. Last year, you finished runner-up in a very tight race. So to finally get in here and get in the studio and just earn this honor, what does it mean for you?
I'm just grateful to finally have everyone back me up and just I'm just glad to be here. You know, I know what I'm capable of doing on the field, and I'm just glad that everyone was able to vote and help me be able to showcase it.
All right, 12 carries, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did you have a feeling going into the game that it might be your night?
I wouldn't say particularly I had a feeling it would be my night. I just had a feeling that I was going to do better personally than the last game, which I did. And the whole team did better, but I wouldn't say that was my thought originally, no.
All right, I'll ask the play caller over here. Coach, did you kind of have a feeling that this might be a good matchup for him going against Barrington?
Yeah, I thought, well, I think the goal was that he'd pick up the workload a little more. His running mate, Richard Bridges, he's sidelined a few weeks with the shoulder injury. And, we ran a 2-back system. So I think with Richie going down, we knew Mel would have to kind of take on a little more of the carrying load. So, again, this is, I don't want to say it's an expectation, but, I mean, I'm not surprised. Mel he's kind of been putting the team on his back for the last 4 years, every opportunity he gets. So every time he has a big game or he has one of these games, I'm not really surprised. He puts in the work. He puts his head down, and he studies his play. So, I'm happy, and usually when it happens, I'm really not surprised.
Talk a little about, you mentioned his 4 years in the program. How has he sort of grown in the time that you've had him?
He's grown a lot. I actually started with Ramel in the 8th grade. I was his coach for Breakthrough 7-on-7, and that's kind of how we started to build a relationship. And thereafter, he went to Central, and he's been playing pretty much every single year from then. I kind of make it a thing to make sure our freshmen, they play varsity. So Mel's been a varsity contributor for the last 4 years, and he's been through the ups and downs of the teams. He's seen some of the better teams we've had, and he's seen some of the tougher times we've had. So I think it's just a good blend of 4 years kind of learning from different people and kind of learning through trial and error. And I think just him growing as a leader is something that really I mean, he's always had leadership qualities, but I think when you see it year to year and sport to sport, and you see it pick up, and him picking up other guys, and setting an example, and just making sure that he is the example, physically, whether he has to be a vocal leader, whether he has to lead by example. He's just somebody who's always put his best foot forward and trying to make everybody around him better. So that's what I can appreciate about Mel and what he brings to the team.
Talk a little bit about that, Ramel, and just kind of your growth and kind of how you've seen the program grow and the teams that you've kind of been with over the 4 years. What has the experience as a Knight been like for you?
Since freshman year, it's definitely been a different, from middle school is more different than, it's more real, So ever since I've been a freshman, it's always had, I wouldn't say the responsibilities were mandatory, but it was just, if I wanted to do better, I had to be responsible and, almost, do my chores, and it was I just made sure to do it, my schoolwork, and then year to year I just made sure I got better through the off season, running track, lifting weights, and I just helped others around get better as well. And every year I've just seen the team and program get better year by year.
And for you now as a senior, being a leader for this group, being captain, what has this year been like for you? How has it maybe changed since the off season going into this year?
This year it's definitely been kind of feels like the last step of the stairs, but it's been good so far. We finally got our first win last week, and I don't know, I guess we just got to see what the rest of it gives us, but I'd say this season it's been going good so far.
And for you on the football field, what what do you prefer to do? Is it are you an offensive guy by trade, defense? What's your favorite part of the game?
Honestly, I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I like doing what's needed, like, or where I'm needed. I like playing where I'm needed mostly. Like, I wouldn't say offense or defense has more of a favor to me, but like just being on the field and knowing that I'm doing something that is needed to be done. That's what I like being on the field for.
I see Coach nodding over there. You want to chime in on that question?
Yeah, I consider Mel an old school football player, and I think all my coaches who kind of grew up around my era or before, they understand what I mean by that. Old school, Mel's going to do what needs to be done. Heart, right, over height, heart over weight. I think Mel is easily my most tenacious player that we have on the defensive end. And he brings that same tenacity to the offensive side and even special teams. Mel plays all three phases. He's pretty much never tired. The only time he is tired or he's out is if he's cramping, but he's never a kid who's tapping his helmet. He wants to go in every play. He wants to be in every play. He wants to be in every rep. I sometimes have to pull Mel off the field because I see he needs the break, but he won't come out. So when you talk about old school football players, a guy where you can put him at linebacker, you can put him at safety, you can put him at corner, you can put him at receiver, he can play wildcat QB, he plays running back. So he's pretty much almost played every single position for me, and he's excelled. So again, one of those old school football players with an old school mentality who just wants to play ball and do what's best for his team to put us in the best position to win.
All right. Talk a little about that this season for you guys. I mean, a little tough start, I would say, some tough losses at the beginning of the season. But what do you think about this group altogether? And where do you think maybe this season you could carry it this season? Start with you, Mel.
This group compared to like the previous groups I've been with, I'd say like our chemistry and like emotions and like, I wouldn't say physical, but like our mental connection is kind of further and on a like, it's better than the previous teams, but physically we're still, we still make some mistakes here and there, but we're just cleaning them up week by week. We've made the least mistakes last week. It is what allowed us to make our first win, but we're just gonna keep going uphill and hoping just eventually have no mistakes. And yeah, the squad is definitely a great one. It's definitely a good one.
For you as a coach, Coach Washington, kind of seeing mistake-free football last week. You see it all kind of come together.
Yeah, I think I think that's one of the beautiful parts about football is especially over a long season point. Usually, the team you are at the beginning of the year, it's not the same team you are at the end of the year. So I kind of tell my guys to live in these moments, the moments where we're making a whole bunch of mistakes and we don't look that good. Everybody knows what we're capable of. All the kids know what we're capable of. The coaching staff, we all know what we're capable of. And it's about playing that mistake-free football. It's about knowing your assignment. It's about knowing your alignment. It's about having maximum effort. And, it's about putting the right pieces together. Sometimes, you can't have the perfect team with the perfect players, but they're not blended in the right way. And, I don't want to say usually you need a couple games to kind of work those kinks out, but I think historically for us, we usually get started around this time or pretty late. I want to recall last year, we kind of had a similar start. I think we were 1-2 or 1-3. And then we won in Barrington, and then, we hit, I think, 3 straight before we had some injuries, and then we started to kind of head back downhill. So I think, I don't want to say we're on pace, but I think the timing feels right as us getting better as a team and us finding out, hey, what makes us tick, what offense do we need to stay in, what do we need to do, and kind of the certainties of who needs to be in certain places. So I think as long as we stay healthy, we'll be fine in the latter of the season.
All right. Mel, for you, we'll start with this one. The challenge of playing Division I football and going up against the big clubs in the state, the LaSalles, the Hendrickens, and now the way that the schedules are set up, you're playing all these out-of-state teams, these really big programs from other parts of New England. What is that challenge like for your group?
It's different. It's more real, like I've said before. It's just more challenging. It's higher competition, and it's just like a harder test in school. And I don't know, like I keep freezing up. It's harder. I'd say it's harder, definitely. Like the out of state teams, I'd say when it comes to Hendrick and LaSalle, like more of the teams in state, it's always a dogfight. But like, you know, the out of state teams are definitely harder.
All right. As a coach, Coach Washington, how do you sort of manage that in the way that just, I guess, managing emotions and just the way the season sort of plays out for you guys?
Yeah, I think I think what kind of Mel's trying to allude to is that I think when you do play those games, the in-state games just feel a little easier,
Right.
and that's just the idea of it. Is we play a hard schedule, and again, you rattle off 3 straight, and you would kind of expect to have some type of worry, but there's just never a feeling of worry or nervousness in the building or amongst the kids, just because we know the reason why we're losing these games are largely because of us. And that's not taking away anything from any team. I feel like we played 3 great teams, but we feel like we've made a lot of mistakes in these last 3 weeks, and making these type of mistakes against really good teams give you an opportunity to watch the film, clean it up, and again, when you get to a latter schedule that feels a little easier, I think things become a lot smoother, and the machine starts to kind of run a little smoother. So I think it just kind of makes our process a little simpler, opposed from, let's say, playing an easier schedule, and then the later on in the season things start getting hard and adversity hits a little later, and kind of nobody knows what to do. Again, we at 0-3, all the adversity has already hit at that point, and we're kind of in a do or die mentality. So I don't want to say we've already had our adversity, but it feels like what is the worst kind of possible scenario, which was 0-3 for us, happened. It's kind of right on time, and we just gotta take the punches and go week to week, game to game. We understand that. We understand the playoff picture. We understand RPI. We understand the seeding. We understand how everything goes. But now it's kind of we're kind of playing that brand of football that all right, every game matters, and we're only in week 4. And some teams kind of don't start to play that type of football till week 6, week 7, 2 games until the playoffs left. So I think now that we're in the middle of the season and we kind of have that mentality that, hey, we already lost 3 straight. Okay, we can't be playing the same games and making the same mistakes that we've already made. I think it allows us to be a lot sharper.
All right. We talked a little bit about his future, but the great news for Ramel is he's great in the classroom.
Absolutely.
Has that taken care of. You talked a little about trying to pursue football at the next level. Kind of where are you at with that, and what's that process looking like for you?
I'm just make sure I maintain my good grades, doing as much as I can on the field. And I just became a senior, so I'm just now starting to apply for colleges. But I guess I would like to play football at the next level. So I'm just hoping that I can earn a scholarship and take it to college and pursue my career.
And you probably had a little contact with coaches or get an idea where he's sort of sitting in that regard? Talk about.
Yeah, I think right now we got a few Division III schools in the fold, and prep in the fold as well. Like I said, Mel, he's kind of went through a few injuries. Or he had a season-ending injury last year, which kind of really derailed his recruiting. And he had a really good rise in sophomore season, and last year was really big for him, and he was having a great first half of the year. And I think you broke your wrist.
Yes,
I think
sir.
he broke it. Yeah, he broke the wrist last year, which really derailed him. So this year we're kind of getting back into the fold, and we just want to make sure we got quality film out there. Like I said, Mel's a very high character kid, my team captain, great grades, 3.5 GPA, A and B student. And like I said, getting into school won't be the problem. I think it's just about where's the right fit for him, and I think that's gonna kind of roll out. I got a pretty good relationships with a few coaches in New England, who kind of reach out to me a little later in the year about a lot of the players we have. So I think when the time is right, me and Ramel will sit down and kind of go through all our options. And like I said, because he's such a good student and such a good high character kid, getting to school is not going to be the problem. Again, I think it's kind of just about where's the perfect fit for him from an athletic standpoint. So I know he'll be fine. He's a super smart kid, with or without football. But I definitely see Mel playing next year.
All right, great. Well, good luck the rest of the way with this season. Thank you so much for coming in. Congratulations on locking it down with that 70% of the vote. And that will wrap it up for our Blitz 12 Player of the Week.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you very soon.